So there's been a lot of speculations about what Dele Farotimi said in his book about Afe Babalola that has now prompted the senior lawyer to have him arrested. But in case you haven't read that book, watch the interview where Dele Farotimi explained what exactly is the grudge between him and the senior advocate.
I'm going to the nitty-gritty of what you wrote in your book, which I may not be able to pick on every character or every experience that you have. But there is one that seems to have touched you, and you became so emotional in the use of your language in this book. You describe the situation, historical factors, socio-political dynamics, and economic disparities, which you think have contributed to the dysfunction system we have within the Nigerian judiciary. You have argued that these challenges not only hinder effective law enforcement or also undermine the protection of citizens' rights, leading to a cycle of impunity and justice. You particularly took on personalities. And a very revered legal icon, Afe Babalola, you accused him of corrupting the Supreme Court. You accused him of libel. And you accuse him of leveraging his influence in the judiciary to deny you justice. You made reference to a particular case. And you also dragged the likes of Mr. Pedro S.A.N. in all of this argument. What exactly was the situation? And how can you defend what you have alleged in this book?
Like I have strived to explain, I am dealing with institutions and principalities within institutions. That I have had to deal with persons is, by the way, they are collateral to my preoccupation. Now, anything I have said in relation to any one of them, I am perfectly happy to defend myself before any court of law, anywhere in the world. And the fact of the truth that I have told, they are all in the public space. They are in the public record. They are before the courts. I have not written this book to scandalize or to make money. In actual fact, every kobo derived from this book already pledged and donated to a foundation for autistic children. This is not for gain. But the truth is the truth is the truth, and it must be told without caring about names or reputations. If I have lied against persons, they are lawyers. As you said, Baba is the legal igu in Nigeria. They are the ones who planted the judiciary that we have today. And I know and they know what they did in the case under reference. And the facts of what they did, the malfeasance, is before the courts. They can't even, I don't even have to produce a single piece of paper. Everything is in the public space.
But it seems that person so revered as Afe Babalola,
yes,
it looks that you are impugning that image, that reputation built over the years. And I'm asking you to substantiate. Tell Nigerians on this platform what exactly was the case. How did he deny you justice through the system?
Sheon,
Mr. Farotimi.
I wrote a book deliberately setting out the facts. I have also been very deliberate in my presentation and speaking about the book since I wrote it to make sure that nobody is able to say that I have written the book with the intention of scandalizing persons. When I said Afe Babalola denied me justice, I laid out the substance of my allegation in the book that I have written. If I begin to deal with the nuts and bolts of it on your podcast or in the press, that's why you've never seen me tweet any part of the allegation or speak about it publicly. I've put it in a book. That is deliberate. It will outlive me and them. It is not beer parlor talk. It is me putting my words in writing. It is indelible. Nobody can touch it again. Before that book was written, my major prayer was that Afe Babalola should live to read that book. or at least have somebody read it to him, or at least have somebody tell him about it so that he's able to rebut, and nobody is going to turn around later on and claim that, why didn't you say this when he was alive? In actual fact, that was why I sued him in his lifetime, so that there would be record that I challenged him with the facts when he was alive. And thanks to God, the God who has given all of us life, he has preserved him as he has preserved me. Afe Babalola is alive and well. He is well able to challenge the facts as I have laid them out. So when I say that he denied me justice, even you who has read the book, let me just say this. How do you explain that the person who was the chairperson at my wedding was the judge, the chairperson at my wedding, who has not talked to me and has kept a distance and been very malicious towards me since 2003. She has never had a word to say to me. That was the person, my very first employer as a lawyer. That was the judge that the case was assigned to. My case against Afe Babalola was assigned to that judge.
And you think that you couldn't have gotten justice?
How could I possibly have gotten justice from a judge who hadn't spoken to me, who was chairperson at my wedding, who was the first person to ever employ me? And that
One would imagine that kind of person would be in your favor, not against you.
Oh, I didn't need anyone to be in my favor. But as I said in the book, the moment the case was assigned to her, I called the former head of chambers and told him, see, they've assigned my case to this woman. If I write a letter demanding that the case be removed, it will be construed as me being malicious. I'll leave it, since she's not the substantive judge. She's meant to be the, I can't remember what they call those things. When you file a case, first it goes to a judge before it goes to trial. She was just meant to just take the preliminary issues. But she killed the case before it even went. That's another story, and it's been told. See, justice must not only be done, it must be seen to have been done. She adjourned to rule on a preliminary objection. We wrote 2 letters to the court to find out when the ruling will be delivered, and copied our first chamber. Nobody ever responded. 9 months after her adjournment, she delivered the ruling without even informing us. We just happened to be in court for something else, and we realized that she had delivered her ruling without ever informing us. I have provided more. Look, my own is this. Before the book was written, I was pressured. I was under a lot of personal pressure that I must write this book and it must be in the public space, because none of us will live forever. Now I have written this book. Those who feel aggrieved by the book should do me the favor of suing me. I have not whispered in a beer parlor. I did not talk in some back room somewhere. I have written a book. It is in the public domain. If they are aggrieved, let them go to court. Maybe everybody, they tell us in Nigeria, go to court. Okay, so me, I'm saying to them as well, go to court.
But you have not still told me on this platform, and perhaps a lot of my audiences who have not read the book, what did Afe Babalola do to you?
You are making this sound like some personal grievance between myself and Afe Babalola. I'm saying it is not personal. I'm saying that Afe Babalola corrupted the judiciary. And in corrupting the judiciary, it came across my practice. When I came across it, I challenged it as a lawyer, and I fought it to the point where he could not enjoy the fruit of his exertion in the Supreme Court. In writing the letter that he wrote to the then Chief Justice of Lagos State, Ayomide Philip, he libeled me. He suggested that I should be derobed, that what I had done was deserving of sanction, and I should have been struck off the bar. And when I saw this, knowing what I already knew of what he did, I wrote a letter asking that he should withdraw that letter that he had written that was libelous of me. And he declined. Arrogantly so, he declined. And I sued him for libel. And when I sued for libel, the machines of corruption went into overdrive, and a case that should never have been killed at the preliminary stage was killed. Everything about the case, the judge to whom it was assigned, the manner of the handling of the case, 9 months after it was adjourned for ruling. 9 months. The procedures are clear. It shouldn't be longer than 3 months. 9 months without informing us, in spite of the fact that we had written 2 letters to request to be told when the ruling will be delivered. So, and then the ruling went as far as to say that, look, Sheung, there are some things that should not be reduced to person. This has nothing to do with persons. If Afe Babalola was the only person who is licensed to enjoy that level of impunity, that's different. It's not about him. It's a system-wide problem. You simply can't get justice from the system. When I spoke about him and the others, they are merely as examples. He has nothing to do with persons. I don't know him as a person beyond what I have described. I think I've only ever set my eye on him once in my entire life. I described it in the book. It was at Heathrow Terminal 5. That was the only time I ever saw him in my life, and it was before this occurrence. So it's nothing personal. But if persons have perpetrated evil and they have reinforced it and built a system that is as patently evil as the one in which we are living, it becomes the duty of the conscious. If you are conscious of that evil, you must speak against it. If you don't speak against it, you are helping to normalize it. So when the United Nations is speaking about corruption in the Nigerian system, when a judge is appointing his son, his daughter-in-law, when the entire system becomes as prebendal as it has become, it becomes easy for persons to influence things within the system to the detriment of those who should be citizens. So I'm not speaking about persons. I loathe to speak about persons. But when I am compelled to speak about persons in relation to their impact on the system and as types, I have no choice. I have no choice. It is whether what I have said is the truth or not. That should be what counts. It's not about the person. I don't care about names. I don't care about whether the person is 100 years old or 10 years old. It is about what level of respect have you earned. What is the value of the life you have lived.